Welcome to the World in Documentary channel. Hello everyone. Today, the Mundo em Documentário channel will be your tour guide on this immersive journey into knowledge. And today we will travel back in time together to unravel the mysteries of the beginning of civilizations. Is there a link between today's great cities and the ancient civilizations of the past? Find out in this episode. If you've ever dreamed of traveling back in time and getting to know the first civilizations, this episode is for you. Get ready for an epic adventure through time, where you will discover the origins of civilization. Before the age of kings, wars, and empires, there was a period of time when civilization had not yet been invented. What kind of world was that? Thus, Mundo em Documentario invites you to embark on a journey through time to unravel the mysteries of the beginning of civilizations. When we talk about civilizations, we are referring to complex, organized, and advanced societies. According to experts, the term civilization refers to a cultural stage characterized by a set of features such as urbanization, political, social, and economic organization, cultural production, and social inequality. To better understand, let's analyze each of the characteristics. First, urbanization, which means the process of city development, reflecting the concentration of a large number of people. The second characteristic, political, social, and economic organization, which involves the formation of governments, social classes, and work systems. Cultural production, that is, the production of works of art, science and technology, and social inequality, which arises from the division of labor and the accumulation of wealth. The crucial question for understanding how civilization began lies in understanding what preceded it. Several scholars argue that the emergence of civilization arose after a period in which human beings lived in a disorderly manner. In the period before civilization, humans lived in caves and fed on fruit, hunting and fishing. This phase is known as the Stone Age. After the Stone Age, man began to dedicate himself to other means of subsistence. In nomadic groups, humans lived in the middle of nature and were constantly moving in search of food. This period became known as the Polished Stone Age. Starting approximately 10,000 years ago, humans domesticated animals and plants and began to cultivate the soil for planting. This milestone in human history is known as the Agricultural Revolution and marks the end of the nomadic period as humans began to settle in a specific location. In short, we can say that the emergence of civilization was not a one-off event, but rather a gradual process. From the moment humans began to have surplus food, sedentary lifestyles, and the production of tools for soil rotation, planting food, and domesticating animals, among other techniques, humans' way of life changed and they began to live in larger groups. This process led to the intensification of work, the specialization of functions, the emergence of inequalities, and from then on, the development of the first cities. To better understand this process, let's look at three of the first civilizations: Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Indus Valley. Mesopotamia, cradle of cities. Today, the area where Mesopotamia was located corresponds to parts of Iraq, Kuwait, Turkey, and Syria. In ancient times, Mesopotamia was known as the land between two rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris. Today, the rivers are suffering from the process of desertification. However, around 3,500 years before Christ, the region was extremely fertile, ideal for the development of agriculture. Between the centuries 3,500 and 2,300 years before Christ, the first cities in history emerged in Mesopotamia. One of the most important cities in Mesopotamia was Uruk, located in the south of Mesopotamia, close to present-day Iraq. Around 3,100 years before Christ, Uruk was inhabited by 50,000 people, considered a metropolis for the time. According to studies by historians, Uruk was the first city in the world to surpass the 50,000 inhabitants mark. The inhabitants of Uruk built brick houses, created irrigation systems for river water, and built gigantic temples. the ziggurats, dedicated to the gods of the time. According to studies, temples were built with alternating layers of earth and clay, creating pyramidal shapes. As for the form of government, Mesopotamia was governed by kings, priests, who exercised political and religious power, that is, they were priest-kings. In Mesopotamia, cuneiform writing began around 3200 BC. The Sumerians were the first people to create a writing system, using a set of symbols engraved on clay tablets for administrative purposes to record the ownership of goods, assets, and taxes. Egypt, ethereal cities on the banks of the Nile. In Egypt, cities emerged around 3100 BC. Ancient Egypt developed on the banks of the Nile River. The annual floods of the river guaranteed fertile soil for agriculture, enabling the development of cities. Among the Egyptian cities, Memphis and Thebes stand out. According to studies by historians, Egyptian cultural development reflected the importance of harmony between man and nature, seeking to reconcile man with the natural environment. The Egyptians believed that the king was the incarnation of a god. In this way, the city was seen as an extension of the divine kingdom. One of the most important periods in Egypt was the 26th Kingdom of Memphis, between 2055 and 1985 BC. During this period, Memphis was considered the capital of the world and was home to several foreign nations. In Egypt, writing was hieroglyphic, that is, the set of characters was pictorial. Hieroglyphics were used for religious and scientific purposes. Indus Valley, the planned city. Today, the Indus Valley is located in northwest Pakistan and southwest India. The Indus Valley flourished around 2600 BC with the development of agriculture, cotton cultivation, cattle breeding, the domestication of horses, the intensification of work and social organization, political organization, justice, trade, and cities developed. Among the most important cities in the Indus Valley, Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa stand out. The inhabitants of the Indus Valley built planned cities, with grid streets, brick buildings, bathrooms in the homes, storm drains, and an underground sewage system. Regarding the population of the Indus Valley, it is known that they lived in houses with courtyards and bathrooms. In addition, the remains of the dwellings show that the Egyptians enjoyed bathing and hygiene. Another characteristic of the Indus Valley civilization was the production of cotton fabrics. The Egyptians used animal wool to weave blankets and covers. Despite the advancement of civilization, the archaeological site of the Indus Valley still presents mysteries to be unraveled, since the writing has not yet been deciphered. China and the Americas, parallel civilizations. According to scholars, in China, civilizations emerged around 1700 BC. The civilization of China flourished near the Yellow River. The Xia dynasty is considered the first dynasty of China, followed by the Shang dynasty. The Shang dynasty left records on turtle shells and animal skulls, used for oracular purposes. In the Americas, civilizations emerged independently. In Peru, around 3000 BC, the Corral civilization emerged. The archaeological sites of Corral are located in the Supi Valley in central Peru. The legacy of the first cities. The first cities left legacies for later civilizations, such as writing, law, trade, and religion. Cities gave rise to civilizations, empires, and kingdoms. In Egypt, the pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs. The pyramids have become a World Heritage Site, a symbol of ancient Egypt. Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa in the Indus Valley demonstrated that the Indus Valley civilization was advanced for its time. The ruins of Mohenjo-Daro are a World Heritage Site. Today, the cities have become important centers of commerce and culture, welcoming visitors from all over the world. Civilizations have risen and many have fallen, but the human desire to build, live in community and leave a legacy endures over time. And so, we come to the end of another episode. We hope you enjoyed traveling with us through time and discovering how the first civilizations developed. If you want to know more about civilizations, watch the next episode. See you next episode.